What's good everyone, it's Steve from SnkrTechTalk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a quick look at the recently released Air Jordan 4 Reimagined in the black cement colorway. Alright, so really quickly, let's go over the box. It is basically an inverted Air Jordan 4 box. As you can see right here, the base of the box is black, the top has the speckle print. The size tag label does read Air Jordan 4 Retro Black Fire Red Cement Gray, and these did retail for $280 here in Canada, $215 USD in the United States. And then inside the box, you do have some speckle print paper. And then really quickly, just so you guys can see the difference, I do have the standard Air Jordan 4 box here for the 2019 black cements. And as you can see right here, you have the speckle print at the bottom and the black lid. So that is where they differ. All right, so taking a quick look at the shoes, I know there's a ton of hate online for this retro in general because they did switch up the material on a classic model. So the originals in 1989 actually had a Durabuck upper. They have not used that material in like 30 plus years. The 1999 retro, I believe it was the 2008 retro, the 2012, and the 2019 all either use nubuck or suede, not Durabuck. So they did switch it up again here with a full grain leather upper. It is tumbled leather, so that is where this retro does differ. But as always, starting at the bottom of the shoe, you do have this herringbone traction pattern here at the bottom. You have red, white, and gray. And then moving your way up to the midsole, you do have that polyurethane midsole that does wrap all the way around. And then you do have that visible encapsulated air sole unit. And then in the forefoot, you actually have an air sole unit that is not visible, obviously. So there is some decent comfort as far as air in this shoe. And this polyurethane midsole is actually very soft compared to years previous midsoles on Air Jordan 4s. So I did just want to note that really quickly. Moving your way to the upper, obviously starting at the back of the shoe, you do have that gray, cement gray, Nike Air logo. And then the leather throughout this upper is very thick. It is very heavy. Like this shoe's pretty heavy in hand. And you do have a very nice quality of leather here on the upper of the black cement 4s. You do have those wings right here on the lateral and on the medial side. On the tongue, you have the Jumpman flight patch, and this tongue is pretty thick as well. It's pretty padded compared to the last release in 2019. And then the padding at the back of the shoe is pretty thick as well. So really no shortage as far as the nice material and padding on this retro of the Air Jordan 4. And then one thing they've more or less perfected here is this toe box. So the toe box on the Air Jordan 4 is typically really boxy, like a steel toe boot, like it kind of goes straight up and then straight across. Here it's a lot more sleek on this retro. I am hearing that they did use the mold from the Air Jordan 4/SB that they did last year in the white and green. And you can really see that coming through in this pair right here because this pair's shape is far better than anything we've had basically since 1999. You really have that really nice sloped toe box, and I'm really enjoying the overall shape and craftsmanship of this retro so far. And then on the left shoe, you do get this hang tag that is black and clear here, and it does say Nike Air. And overall, more or less of the same. You do have that netting here on the side of the shoe. Your netting should not be attached to the paneling behind it. And you also have that netting running up the tongue and on the medial side as well. And then the size tag label here, you can see on the inside of the shoe, it should be stamped on the medial side. And then behind the tongue, as always, with Air Jordan 4s, it says Air Jordan upside down, because back in the day, a lot of people would flip this tongue and you would see Air Jordan when you'd flip it forward. So this is a very nice retro in my opinion. Again, I am kind of like tripping out considering that this material change is just not what I'm used to, but at least the material that they did use is very thick and very nice. So I do think these are going to wear very nicely on foot, but time will tell obviously on how these age over the years. And then just really quickly, I wanted to compare this year's retro in 2024 to the 2019 retro with this nubuck material right here. So obviously the toe box is the biggest thing that has changed other than the material. As you can see right here on the leather one, it is very nice and sloped. On this one right here, it is a little bit more boxy. And then obviously on this one, you are getting that nubuck material, which does scuff pretty easy, and when it gets wet, it can be damaged. Versus the leather, I think this is gonna last a lot longer. And over the years, once shoes age, 10, 15 years, this material, especially on the toe box, it does start to crack. Like it'll crack right through the material due to drying out and just the age. So overall, this material does get pretty beat up, but again, this is more or less what MJ wore back in 1989. So I can see why some people are upset that they did change the material to leather, but like I mentioned again, this material is very nice in hand, and it's just something that the brand, although the price point is rather high at $215, the brand did put some thought into on adding some nice materials on this year's retro here of the Black Cement 4. And then, not that the weight matters on the leather version versus the nubuck version, but this one definitely feels a lot heavier in hand. So from the 2019 retro with that nubuck material in a size 10.5, these do come in at 18.9 ounces, so just under 19 ounces. And then this year's leather version here, the Reimagined version, in a size 10.5, comes in at 21 ounces basically. So about 2 ounces heavier, and you can definitely feel in hand. These things are pretty heavy weight as far as the materials and just the overall feeling on foot, but nonetheless, the materials are really nice. Another thing that they did change up that I already did mention on this pair is the tongue thickness. So the tongue on the 2019 pair is basically paper thin. There's no padding at all in between the materials. Whereas on this year's pair in 2024, the tongue is pretty thick and it has some really nice padding. So I think you're definitely gonna get more comfort out of these. And then the padding in the heel is really nice as well. Whereas in the 2019, the padding is a lot more thin. So overall, I think the quality on this pair right here far trumps the 2019 pair. But again, the material change for a lot of people is what people are up in arms about, because so many people are used to seeing the 2019 version of like nubuck on an Air Jordan 4 in black cement. But we've seen the black cements now several times. So obviously in 1989, they did release for the first time. 1999 was the first retro. And then in 2008, we got the Countdown Pack retro with the Jumpman on the heel. And then in 2012 on Black Friday, we did get another retro. Again in 2019 right here with this pair. And then here in 2024, we are getting the Reimagined Air Jordan 4 with the leather upper. And honestly, although it is a pretty big change, I'm not mad at it because it's something a little bit different, a twist on things. I know the purists, the OGs are not gonna like it, but I'm really not mad at the brand on what they did here in 2024. Really quickly, as far as sizing goes on these guys, I did try this pair on. I'm usually a size 10.5 in all of my Jordan retros, a size 10.5 in Jordan 4s. Right here, this is a size 10.5 in the 2019 pair. So I did stick with that size here in the 2024 retro here, and it's really no issue at all. They fit very comfortable on foot. I do have just a tiny bit of room here near the end of the shoe. It's not overly narrow, so I would say go true to size if you have a normal foot, maybe up half a size if you have a really wide foot. But again, if you can try these on in store, which is unlikely because I'm sure they sold out, that would be your best bet. But true to size, and you should be good to go in the Air Jordan 4 retro. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Air Jordan 4 in the black cement colorway with the leather upper. Let me know down in the comments, did you guys pick this shoe up? Or is the price point just too outrageous? Or are you just not a fan of this material on a black cement 4? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very intrigued to see what the masses think as far as the material swap. As always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that does help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at SnkrTechTalk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.